This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs the Playbook, and I have Kevin Wulff, the owner and coach of Mitchell and Ness, which I have to tell you, I have so many people that come on the playbook, and that may now be my favorite title. I'm not sure Warren Moon will let me say owner and coach, but I know I could be co-owner and coach.
Right.
It's more conglomerate days now. But I guess as a co-owner, you're an owner. A lot of people that are entrepreneurs don't understand that, number one, you have to be entrepreneurial in order to make your way up to be an executive of a company. And we start with an attitude that starts really sometimes before even college. I was wondering if your entrepreneurial journey started before, during, or after college.
It's a great question because it's kind of who I am. But when you look at my career, I primarily work for corporations. So being an entrepreneur within a corporation is even harder. But it's also the benefit of it. It's relatively rare. So and I think a lot of my success was being more of an entrepreneur, caring about every single success, really working on values, and even at Nike, which I think when people think of Nike, they think, oh, mega bucks, mega athletes, mega campaigns, but we spend money as though it's our own. And that's one of our corporate values, company values at Nike. So being an entrepreneur, I think, is the key to running a small company, which I'm now doing for the first time in my life over the last 2.5, 3 years with Mitchell and Ness. But it served me really, really well within the corporate environment because there aren't as many people who think like that.
It's interesting that you say values, because one of the things I noticed as I went up to the campus a lot in Oregon was that I felt almost cultish because the culture was so strong. Very strong culture. What are some of the things that you learned in the years you were at Nike that, to me is an incredible accomplishment, that everybody seems to be so loyal to the brand? It's not just that, they like where they work. There's a passionate purpose to the brand for them.
It's truly Phil Knight's culture, and there's no ifs and buts about it. He's tough. He's creative. He's an entrepreneur. He's got an MBA from Stanford, but he's an Oregon Duck through and through. He's loyal to the area. He's loyal to his people. And he created values that he picked up from a company called ASICS. Back then it was Onizuka Tiger, and so that's kind of where it started. If you look at the ASICS values, they're worded differently, Japanese versus English, but the values are very, very similar. So work as one, work as a team, learn from your mistakes, a variety of things like that. Again, worded differently, but it's what he learned and how he started. And I think he, to this day, attributes a lot to what he learned from Mr. Onizuka.
Which is interesting. Weren't you the CEO as well?
I was,
of ASICS as well, right here.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm probably the only person that's had those dual type responsibilities. And,
at such a high level.
At such a high level. And I actually could see all the similarities. It was kind of unnerving when I first started at ASICS because it seemed so different because of a little bit more traditional running, take less risk, but some of the core principles were identical.
One of the things I like about your career is, Nike was already on an upsurge. I think around 93 you started there. But the interesting thing, you really took ASICS to the next level. And, I've known the brand because I ran track as well in college. So it was very strong within that genre. But, where you took it over $1 billion in revenue and must be a good feather in the cap, at least as an entrepreneur. And that's what, entrepreneurs think is, look, as a CEO, I really doubled the income of a company in a very short amount of time, and not at small numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I had two career you'll never forget moments, and it's a team. It's not just me.
Right.
But my very first job, I started at Nike Canada. So here's Kevin Wulff. They brought in 15 more marketing, branding experts versus financial people. And when I started, if you look at the records, it was one of the difficult periods at Nike.
It was a recession. It was a tough
time. About $3 billion, and hey, is Nike finally running out of gas, and all those types of things that periodically happens. Wasn't the case, but it periodically happens. So they send me, not knowing anything about this industry. I was the head of marketing branding at Miller Brewing Company. So it tastes great, less filling, all that kind of good stuff, and was riding pretty high. But hey, I'm going to try this footwear and apparel. It's a bit of passion. I like fashion, all that kind of good stuff. So they sent me to Canada, and nobody came with me. Went up there and knocked on the door and told the CFO I was basically, who was also the CEO, I'm your new CEO. And that's all the direction you got. And so I did spend a couple months on the campus. And really the key takeaway was leave your goddamn ego at the door.
Nice.
You work as a team. You work as one. Listen, learn, and you're going to do fine. So that's what I came prepared with. And after the end of 3 years, we went from 15 million to 500 million. I think we were number 6 in the marketplace. Brooks at that time was a discount brand. It was bigger than Nike, and that's where I won the Alberto Salazar Award. And that was an award. I think it was given out 4 times, maybe 5 times. So I was the 6th recipient, but I gave it to the team of Nike Canada, as we went from 15 million to 500 million. But it's not because of that during a difficult time. It's because of how we represented the values of the company.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I love, we teach here truth consciousness and ego-based consciousness, just training the awareness of when you're acting out of ego. Really, and, dealing with the change in our culture, meaning the technology has changed the way that our young, I hate the words millennials and Y generation. It's really what I believe in accelerated technology. And so they have a different interaction in life and a different way of retrieving information. One of the difficulties you said when you were talking about Phil Knight, and I hear it a lot because I've been blessed to have met him and been with him, is you get a real feeling how intelligent he is, but that he's tough. And tough is not a word that younger people today like. They really don't like tough. And I think my main goal in life is to help people be happy. I'm at a stage in my life that I think we have a happiness problem. And part of the happiness problem is that toughness creates happiness. Right? I mean, a butterfly doesn't break out of his cocoon unless it works really hard. And if you cut open the cocoon, it dies because it can't fly. Nature works this way. How throughout your career, because you really have from 73 to today, you're still owner and coach of a really great brand. It must be a lot different. You have a smaller company, and I'm sure you have young people that work for you. How do you deal with the toughness part?
Yeah, it's a balance. There's no doubt about it. When I use the term tough, it's not personally tough. It's not individually tough. It's managing with courage. And it's something that I actually started when I was at Nike. You may have an individual, it could be crazy successful somewhere, but it's just not working for you. So you look at it, and you may even really enjoy the person, but you have to manage with courage because the team comes first. The results come first. The brand comes first. And so from a toughness standpoint, it's those types of things. It's maybe taking a just to use a number, a $5 million marketing budget, and next year, and they won all kinds of marketing advertising awards. But hey, we're shifting some strategic initiatives, and we're going to take about $2.5 to $3 million from you. So that's what I mean by tough. It's never a personal tough. And Phil was never, like angry or intimidating. He would make the tough call, make the tough decision, and do the right thing for the company and the brand. Brand.
What's the toughest decision you've had to make in your career?
Every single employee change. When you manage with courage with employees, you think about it. Even you got some people that are maybe not good people, it's still tough. Everybody's got a family. Everybody's got dreams and aspirations. So as small as that may seem, that's always tough. But I'd say the biggest things would be, and let's just use ASICS, where, I was the CEO there and the first non-Japanese CEO and a board member and a lot of firsts. But to really take that company to the next level, we had to really shift our strategies. We had to learn from consumers. We had to learn to be consumer focused. We had to take risk, which isn't in the Japanese culture all the time, in their vernacular, to say the least. But we did it in a way that I think some of the people who had been there 20, 30, 35 years felt comfortable. We brought innovation. We brought creativity. If you look at the product, we brought color to ASICS when ASICS really had no color in their product. We brought award-winning marketing, advertising. We made changes in agencies. We brought in, close to 50, 70% new leadership team that, they weren't just Nike people, but people we felt could take us to the next level. So whenever you look at an athletic director and you had a pretty good coach and you use the professional model, and the fact I lived in Toronto and had the very first Toronto Raptor jersey ever made presented to me, had a reunion at the finals this year. That general manager had a tough call. He let go of a coach that was coach of the year. And lo and behold, he made the changes in coaching, and they won a world championship in Toronto, Canada. And trust me, being up there, and that's where I started my career, we all had tears. And that's tough. And those are the type of things that we do, is the changes in structure, the models. That's always the toughest thing. Yeah.
It's amazing because I went as well. My head of media is from Markham, right there in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him even, squeal, and he was bawling.
Oh, it was crazy.
So emotional.
I mean, because ever since that day, and Isaiah Thomas, who was the general manager, first general manager there, and the Bitoff family was the ownership group, and we all became such good friends. I'm a terrible golfer. He's even a worse golfer. My wife's amazing, but we attempted to learn how to play golf together up there. And it's the nicest group of people you'd ever want to meet, but they're so different. They speak like we speak. They look like we speak. But I'll still remember this. We ran a campaign, and it was an Olympic campaign, and it was an American campaign, which we drafted off a lot of their creative to be cost efficient. And it was... you don't win silver, you lose gold. And in Canadians, you compete. And if you compete, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. By competing, you're a winner. And so we ran that commercial up there. I think I almost got kicked out of the country.
Yeah, I bet.
Had so many negative letters and all that type of thing.
The hockey fans were not enjoying that at all,
exactly,
I guarantee you.
Exactly.
Moving in a different direction. So you obviously have extraordinary successes in your career. You have grown-up children that are very successful. You have reached a point, but yet here, 2016 or 15, you went ahead and put together a group and purchased Mitchell and Ness and put your own personal funds in as well. Your money, not only did you invest, but you are the owner and coach. You run the business every day. I think there's two questions to kind of end this up. Number one, what do you look for in a company? At this stage, I tell people all the time, you want to make money, all you got to do is find a guy like Kevin Wulff and say, tell me when, the shoe market is oversold, and then tell me when it's overbought. And I can make a ton of money because there's no way I could ever learn what you know about the business. You see things at the subtleties. So what are you looking for, when you bought Mitchell Ness, the factors, and then two, why do you still want to work? Those are the last two questions for you.
Last one's the hardest one.
Yeah, I know.
No, I think it's as simple as an old school phrase: stick to your knitting. So in this case, I've sure had a lot of success because of the great teams, because the way we built the brand, the way we continued to take that brand's epicenter and build rings around that brand, so we could broaden it, bring in new consumer groups, so on and so forth, without losing the core. So I got to stick to what I know. So Mitchell & Ness is an amazing brand. Nothing to do with me. But as a purchaser, I don't know how to do a commodity. I don't know how to sell to Walmart. I don't know how to sell to JCPenney, even though we did sell them a little bit. Amazon, that type of thing. We did do a little bit of business with Amazon. But
everyone has to.
Yeah, everybody has to today. So you stick to your knitting. That's rule number one. So I'll only deal with the brand. And the brand that I think maybe is a little bit tarnished, maybe it isn't, but you can spit shine it. So if you have a strong brand, that's what I do. So my whole background is in brand and marketing at Miller Brewing Company. Yeah, I wasn't the CEO there, but I was able to help build brands at Miller. So from that early age to where I'm at now, I'm not going to start something I don't know anything about. So I knew we had an amazing brand Now, it's much stronger on the East and the Midwest and wasn't as well known on the West because of the headquarters, but something that we felt we could continue to build and do amazing things with. So stick to your knitting is kind of the first thing. Second thing is,
why still work?
Yeah, and there's other reasons of why you buy this type of thing. But
go ahead.
But I'm too old to want to continue with the corporate life, and but too young at the same time, especially in spirit and health, to not do anything. And I met so many amazing people, and so many people that one and another run at greatness, at being a competitor. And a competitor, the way I define it, and Michael Jordan defines it, is always self-improvement. So if you're a little bit weak from the three-point line, that's all you work on in the off-season. And, we've had weaknesses, we've had strengths, we've had failures, we've had successes. I've had them all. But a lot of people wanted one more run at that magical moment. So I had two of them. We talked about Canada, ASICS. We just killed it. Why not go for three? So if I could get the right team, and teams are what make it in this industry, I wanted to have one more shot, and I wanted to do it on my own, and make sure it wasn't just the money or whatever, that I could do it, and hey, why not make some money?
Oh, and what a great company it is. And certainly there's so much insight. I could probably go another hour with the questions that I have running through my mind. But Kevin, extraordinary journey, extraordinary career. I'm sure Mitchell and Ness. I'm a huge fan of the company, but also a purchaser because one thing, a lot of people just listen to the podcast. If you haven't checked out Mitchell Ness, one thing that always comes to mind is you look at certain brands have a name that applies. It's quality. Right. And you bring the teamwork experience and branding to that, but you look at the stuff even sitting in my office, and even far away, you just know that that's old school 1903 quality that's built into every product. And if you're looking for quality and value, this is the brand that I wear. It's the brand that I buy for my kids. I hang on my walls even in much nicer to frame. So I want to congratulate you. I'm looking for I just wish I would have known you when you were my neighbor, because when I retired in my 30s and I needed a mentor, I thought I knew everything because I had done so well in technology. I needed someone to say, son, you got a long way to pursue your potential. It's not over. I just had that conversation upstairs. Anyway, we have a legend, Kevin Wulff here, the coach and owner of Mitchell and Ness. Go check them out. Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.